What's going on, everyone? Thrift Barringer here, and yes, it is the Glenwood Coaches Show, and I'm about to sit down with two fantastic coaches. But before that, and before I tell you I'm sitting down with, I want to say we are presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC, Kinetic Credit Union, Buffalo Rock Pepsi, Gordy Eye Care, Alabama Power, and of course Zaxby's. Today on the Glenwood Coaches Show, I am going to be sitting down with the soccer coach, Coach Eddie Miranda, who's been there for over 10 years, a great soccer player in his own right, done a great job with the girls and boys program. He's actually coaching both of them this year. And the first year in the AHSA, they got some big things coming this year. Look forward to breaking it down with him, talking about his career, what led him to Glenwood, and then we talk about some key contributors to this year's team. Great conversation with Coach Eddie Miranda. And then after that, I sit down with athletic director and head boys baseball coach, Tim Fanning, and we talk about the significance of that Central game, all the games they played recently against Opelika, Russell County, Smith Station, the rivals, Northside, all the teams that are in this area. It was a lot of fun talking with Coach Fanning in the clubhouse. So that is going to be our show here tonight. So take a quick break. When we come back from break, Coach Miranda is going to start talking about his soccer career and how he got started. It's the Glenwood Coach Show here on Georgia, Alabama Sports Live. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, my name is Griff Gordy, and here at Gordy Eye Care, we have been serving the Bi-City community for 17 years. As a former state championship quarterback, I love the fact that I can watch local high school athletics from the comfort of my own home. So it was a no-brainer to support Georgia Alabama Sports Live and what they do for young athletes in our area.
And without business like yourself, Gordy Eye Care, none of our coverage would be possible. To be able to cover the 16 different high schools, the local colleges, and professional teams. So we'd like to say thank you to you, Dr. Griff Gordy and Gordy Eye Care, for your support of Georgia Alabama Sports Live. And then you can make an appointment today at Gordy Eye Care with the number 334-291-5125. Keep supporting Gordy Eye Care and keep watching Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Where to begin? As far as the soccer goes, I mean, I grew up in Columbus, Georgia. Played soccer there my whole life. From obviously the recreational side all the way up to club ball and with CFC Red Star. Back then it was actually called Columbus United.
Wow.
Ages ago, man. Yeah. And then now it's Concord Fire. But and as far as school ball goes, I played at Hardaway High School under Rick Iden, who just someone who kind of really pushed me to even this other side of me that I don't even think really existed. I didn't really motivated me to be the best version of myself.
Right.
Along with my club coaches. But I had a great time at Hardaway, and
Hardaway Hawks, baby.
That's right, man. So, and then from there, went to Darton College,
okay,
which actually merged with ASU Albany State now. So sadly, our Darton doesn't exist, in that sense. But yeah, I was there for about a year and a half, man, and enjoyed it down there as well. Another eye-opening experience, being surrounded by top players and from all over the country and even out of the country. Had to play with a few Irish guys, guy from Brazil, and one of my best friends and great teammates, guy named Yuki Korea. He's a fantastic player. Played high school ball with him, and,
right?
And so we got to do that journey together, which is pretty unique. But then after the college route, there was a moment where I decided, well, maybe from a coaching perspective, I was like, I wasn't too sure, because I was going to school for criminal justice.
Right.
Like that was like my goal, man. It's like any of the kiddos that asked me, I'm like, look, man, I was ready to fight some crime, man. And take
coaching was the last thing on your mind.
No, yeah, absolutely. I don't think I ever saw that, man. But I had a former coach of mine by the name of Mike Carmine. He had asked me one day if I wanted to get into the coaching world, and I said, sure, why not? And it was great, man. Like next thing you know, I'm coaching a team out there, which former club team out there called River City Soccer. And that was a great time, got my feet wet a little bit. And you know, as I say, the rest is history. From that moment on, it was just trying it out at different schools. Thankfully, I've, you know, growing up in the soccer community,
Right.
it was I guess you could say it was a lot easier for me, you know, born and raised in this area, to connect with other coaches, to connect with different schools.
Right.
You know, and I had the privilege to coach over at St. Anne Pacelli's with their middle school.
Yep.
Helping out over there with Coach Mike Dempsey, who was their coach at the time. I helped out over at Calvary Christian with their girls, with their high school team. Again, this was, feel like, ages ago. You know, and then I had the privilege to one day I got a phone call from Columbus State University,
Mm-hmm.
from Jay Entlick, you know, the head women's coach, and he had asked me if I wanted to be a part of his staff. So that was that, and you know,
And one of the top coaches in the country, regardless of what division he's in. He's so well respected around.
oh my God, top, like he sets a standard that not only as a coach but as a person,
Right.
You can learn so much from, you know, and I love to give him so much credit to the reason why I stayed into the coaching, in the coaching world, you know, just someone who educated me, not only on the field but off the field,
Right.
you know, and helped guide me into that, in that direction. So, but I think one of the more important things, though, is, you know, like, he just taught me never to give up, you know, and to stick with it. And, you know, there's going to be ups and downs, and you know, I was there for about a year, or no, it was first season. And after that season, I got a phone call from a parent from Glenwood School at the time, who was asking if I was interested in coaching school ball,
Right.
like high school ball, and out here at Glenwood School. And I said, sure. And I got to be honest with you, anyone that I speak with regarding Glenwood, I like to tell them, like, hey, I had no idea where Glenwood was. You know,
That's the farthest thing from your mind.
no,
right?
man, yeah, like, never.
When you think soccer, you really didn't think about Glenwood at the time.
No, sir, no. I've you know, I'm sure I've driven by it in the past, but I had no idea where it was, and I'll never forget. It was actually 2014. You know, I came to my first training session, and, you know, even some of the guys thought I was like a new player, like a new student. It's so young, man, you know, and
Right.
and no, it was awesome. I worked under Jason Robertson, who's currently over at Calvary Christian, assisting their program, and, you know, they're doing really well over there. And he's also, you know, just a little side note, he was also my first club coach.
Oh, wow.
Jason Robertson was, so, which I thought was really cool, man. You know, the kind of, now it's like, oh, he coached me
Full circle now.
Oh,
Right.
100% full circle indeed. And the fact that, you know, I got to coach with him was awesome, and learned so much under him. And I assisted him for 2 seasons. And, you know, the school, you know, one day they approached me about, hey, would I be interested in coaching the boys' high school team, you know, the varsity team? And I said, absolutely.
Right.
So, so my 3rd year here, I actually started coaching the boys team as the head coach. So, you know, and it's, I don't know what else to say, man. It's been wonderful. You know, it breaks my heart. I wish I would have known about Glenwood long before, because they've done nothing but you know, provided me with all the tools that I needed. They've been so great to me, you know, and of course, you know, it's like, hey, you know, thankfully it's, you know, sometimes, you know, sports in general, it's like, man, you need to get results or else. And, but no, they've been so loyal, and they've been so great. And, I'm just trying to repay it, you know, pay it back, you know, by getting results.
Right.
But also just helping these kids out in general, you know. So obviously some of these kids want to play at the next level, and you know, as coaches, that's what we're here to do as well. You know, try to make them make the next step. So yeah.
And coach, like I said, you've done a great job. I've seen you from afar. I knew about your coaching and club soccer. You've helped develop many boys and girls, help them get to the next level. But what you've done here at Glenwood has been really great, man. And I do want to talk about you're taking on the role of not only the girls, I mean, not only the boys, but now the girls as well.
Yes,
How was that learning curve having to do both? And do you enjoy it? And I'm guessing you had to talk to Coach Purdue about how to make schedules and practice it and all that. But at least you don't have to schedule around anyone else because it's your practice time. You decide when it's girls and boys and what vice versa. So how's that process been, man?
No, it's been awesome. Simply because I mean, first of all, to answer your first question, that transition from coaching, just the boys team here to the girls team, I got to watch John Robertson do it, our former girls coach do it for years. And it's because of him, that we have a program. He stepped in years ago to create something special for this school. And he's done just a beautiful job, of winning multiple state championships, so to have both groups now, I've coached club ball, again, out in Columbus, as I mentioned, their Concord Fire program now. And, so I've coached girls teams out there, coached boys teams out there, but this is a new challenge in the sense of this is my first time actually coaching a boys and a girls team at one program at the same time.
Gotcha.
So,
right.
And, so you have those training sessions where you go from, so I alternate the times. So for example, this week, it's the boys will train first. We'll start 7th period. And then immediately after our training session's done, the girls come out and we'll do a session with them. And, so it's actually worked out. It's worked out great.
Awesome.
I mean, again, to kind of take a step back in time as far as, last spring, I mean, coming off a huge result for our girls program, unfortunately, John had to step away.
Right.
He missed the last few games, and I'm not gonna lie, man. I was excited, but I was nervous. I was nervous because I know that our girls expect, like, they want to get a result,
and they want to win a state championship.
Absolutely, man. Exactly. They want to lift that trophy, and you know what's at stake there. And for me, it's you don't want to let anybody down.
Yeah.
You don't want to let down the coaches. You want to let down the girls. You don't want to let down the school.
Right.
So
and I promise you that you've done a great job at stepping in for a guy and a legend that was there coaching when I was in high school, when I graduated in 2011, to take over him, to now do a great job with both boys and girls. And the biggest thing I've seen from you, Coach Eddie, is your development of players and getting them ready. Like, I know we're a result-oriented business and it's about winning championships, but Coach, if you win and even though if you don't win a championship, but you're competitive and your guys or girls have an opportunity to make themselves available for college, I feel like you're winning right there, Coach. And you've had many, especially boys, go on and play at the next level. But now you take over the programs that you're doing, both of them. You've got the girls, they're 4-2 right now. The boys are 1-4. You played Prattville last night. Girls had an unbelievable comeback in overtime.
Sure.
And then for the boys, you didn't even get to finish the game. But I want you to talk about the season. We'll start with the girls first, because that's a team that's coming off a state championship in the new league. Okay, you're very familiar with AISA. Now you've got to take on public schools in the AHSA. So how's the beginning of the season been? And we'll start with the girls. Shout out some of your key contributors for this year's team.
Oh, goodness. Coming off of last year, I think that group graduated 3 girls that have been playing Glenwood soccer for years. So it was going to be tough to replace them, to plug those, to fill in those gaps, And so we've had a ton of girls that have stepped up. But as far as returning players go, someone that has ever since she stepped foot on our campus and put on that jersey, McKenna Kasner, just a
baller.
Gosh, fantastic player all around. She's just one of those girls that just takes on that responsibility. You give an instruction here or there, and she's executing. So she's a joy to coach. And then you have, oh goodness, you have Nicole Bowen. It's her second year here at Glenwood School. Had an awesome year last season. As a freshman. Played a different role last year. She was a center mid for us here at school. But I've had to drop her back in a role that she's familiar with playing in club ball as one of our center backs.
Got you.
And she looks comfortable back there. She looks like she's having a good time. So, you know, she hasn't mentioned anything.
Yeah, she hasn't said nothing yet.
No,
Coach.
she hasn't been like, hey, coach, let's make a change here. But no, you know, I mean, and she's really, so she's kind of a, you know, double-edged sword. You know, I can push her higher up the field if I want to. I can drop her back, you know. And then another returning senior by the name of Lily Hanses. Her and McKenna are, you know, they're our captains.
Okay.
And, you know, Lily Hanses has been there for years as well. Just someone who's, again, another club soccer player alongside McKenna, who, you know, both represent Concord Fire, you know, who've played at a high level there. And, you know, one's at one end of the field and one's in the other. And Lily Hanses has been a rock for us back there for years.
Yeah.
You know, so to have her on board, you know, is tremendous. And of course, you know, we're blessed with goalkeepers. You know, it's funny because some people might say it's a little secret, but it's not though.
Right.
We got multiple goalkeepers, man. From Abby Taylor, who she's a junior now, who's been with us for a few years. Super dependable, to Lillian Moody, you know, who's also a club player. Both of them are club players, you know, and have tons of experience. And then we have Victoria Schwind, you know, to have 3 goalkeepers that you can depend on. I mean, my goodness. So, you know, and honestly, Thrift, I can talk about all these kiddos. So,
right. I know.
You know?
Yeah, we'll have plenty of other coaches to mention every one
Yes,
of them.
sir.
But coach,
Yes, sir.
it seems like all your girls, they believe in your message. They represent you, which you're a fiery guy, you're a passionate guy, and you wear your colors on your sleeve, man.
Yes,
that's
sir.
what I love about coaching. That's how I was a coach, and I know that's why your players want to play for you so hard. On the flip side, for the boys, got off to a little bit of a slow start here. Yeah. I know you're trying to figure out the league, but some key contributor for the boys team, and if you don't mind, kind of talking about how this transition into the AHSAA has been for you and both soccer programs.
Sure. Yeah. You know, again, we'll narrow it down to the boys as far as, you know, what we have. Gosh, you know, graduated two key guys from last season's team. You know, three actually. I'm sorry. Griffin Montroy, tremendous player for us.
Griffin was a baller.
I know. Tucker Mims, man. Both went off to play college soccer, and you know, we had a kiddo by the name of Hunter Warren who'd been playing here forever as well. And he really started to grow as the years went on, you know, so he was tremendous. But no, we that transition, man, has been great so far. I mean, the overall record for us, it doesn't look good on paper.
Yeah, but you know you were going to do that in the beginning. It's not about wins and losses in the beginning. You're trying to figure out your team to get ready for the playoffs, right?
Of course. No, you know, and that's the thing is, you know, the passion, the desire to get results as a coach, it's always going to be there.
Right.
But the kiddos, you know, they're competitive, you know, like you don't have to, you know, you don't have to tell them, you know, like, hey man, we're at a soccer game right now. Right. Sometimes I feel like you have to, but this is a great bunch of kids, man. Right. And I told them before the season started, I said, guys, you know, this is both groups. I said, the cool thing about us going into this league now, playing that public school ball now, you know, this is going to be the most, you know, challenging season that you've had in the Glenwood jersey, but it's going to be the most rewarding, you know, because you go into these games, couple teams that we've never played before, you know, starting off with Alabama Christian, you know, we kicked off against them, we played against them a week ago, and you know, huge test for us, you know, even the girls got a result, great game, 3-1, boys fell short 2-1, right, you know, but we know it's like, again, like you mentioned, it's not experimental. It's more of I look at it as in like, okay, we see what they have, you know. Like
we're getting the feel now. We're understanding. We have what it takes to compete in this league.
Absolutely, you know. And I mean, like we, you know, right off the bat, you look at our schedule. The idea was to kind of create a little bit of a strength in that schedule, scheduling teams like Charles Henderson, you know, scheduling teams like Calvary Christian, right. You know, that was a tough matchup for us, but a game that we needed, you know, like a team that's going to challenge us, you know, and I mean, just to throw that out, I'll throw this out there as well. I mean, we play we play Smith Station High School.
Yeah.
Not this Friday, but the 14th. And I mean, talk about a nice matchup, one that we need to see where we are as well, even though they're not area or region play.
Yeah.
They're a local team, man. They're right across the highway.
Right.
So, and that's a game that we've been wanting to happen for
a long time.
Oh
right?
man, forever. So I think both programs are excited. I mean, in both Glenwood and Smiths, but both of our programs here, our girls and boys, man. I mean, they're looking forward to that game, and but the thing is, it's not just about prepping for one team,
right?
We just I again creating that schedule for us this year. A goal of mine was to really get our kiddos in a position where it was going to be harder. It was going to be more challenging, but some of these kiddos have ambitions to play at the next level,
and they need to play against some of the top competition.
Sure.
And speaking of which, you talk about a game, kind of to put a bow on the Glenwood Coach Show live here in the film room. I cannot believe my dad helped build this film room, man. Now I'm back in here hosting a coach show, one of the best guys, Coach Eddie Miranda, who again is coaching boys and girls at Glenwood. Take on Lee Scott. This is a cry to the community on why everybody needs to come out, because we got border wars. So what you can do is this. You can watch Glenwood Cavalry baseball at 4, and then you walk literally 30, 50, 60, 100 feet.
That's about right.
Over to the football field, soccer field, and then you watch Glenwood take on the rival Lee Scott. What have y'all done this week in preparation? Because I know you had a game last night. The weather wouldn't allow you to finish it. You got practice today to prepare you for what should be a fantastic matchup with your rival tomorrow.
Oh, it should be. Gosh, that girls program over there they've done nothing but improve. Over the years, but so have we.
Yeah.
And I expect both matches to be competitive.
Fiery. I love
oh my
that.
goodness, no, of course. Regardless of who's playing, for either group, expect the game that's going to be, it's like a classic case of two heavyweights. I mean that girls game. I mean, it'll start off a certain way, and then as that game progresses, I mean, it's going to get more and more intense as the game goes. And I can say the same for the boys. So as far as preparation goes, I mean, the team, we'll get together today.
Right.
We'll discuss a few things to prep for.
Do y'all
tomorrow.
watch film and stuff when you talk in prep?
Yes,
I know. So how do you go about like game planning for soccer? It's like,
well, we have to be smart about with us playing these games almost,
so close together, right?
One thing I wanted to start integrating into both programs is just having days where not only they can recover, but also they can we can watch film,
right?
We can watch the opponent and what they've done, and thankfully through it's like we were talking about earlier, like the technology, you have the NFHS network that allows
so you can watch all these games.
Oh man, exactly. So being able to watch other opponents and to prep for that matchup against them, is massive for us. So, but today, I mean, we'll discuss, what both teams present, and and we have a plan. Of course, myself and our staff. I have two great coaches.
I was about to say, shout out your two assistant coaches as well.
Oh no, of course. I have former collegiate. Two former collegiate soccer players, one by the name of Liz Tagami, who she's a teacher here. She teaches down in our lower school.
Yep.
She teaches K4. She's been, this is funny. She's actually been here for as long as I've been, but never stepped into the coaching world. So when she came on board, I thought, dude, this is long overdue, man.
Right. Where you been? You should have came a lot sooner.
Like 100%. So to have her on board, she's great with the kiddos. Kiddos love her, and she to bring her collegiate experience, and she's getting her feet wet with the coaching side of it, man. And again, just being that educator that she is.
Right.
She's this is just it's the same thing. It's just it's outside.
Right.
There's a ball, and
right.
it's supposed to be fun. You know what I mean? Like you're just playing soccer. So it's a great role for her. And then we have former Glenwood soccer player, Glenwood student athlete, Brianna Fanning.
Oh yeah.
Our athletic director's daughter. Who I thought it was awesome that she, the idea of her coaching, which by the way, she played at Thomas University.
Yeah, she played collegiate soccer.
Correct. Yeah, and again, so did Liz. She played at Point University. Yeah. But no, Bree played down at Thomas University and learned so much. And talk about someone who was such a hard worker for us, worked her tail off down there as well. And for her to get back in that scene, she's still so young and she's ambitious as well. She's only 23 and she wants to get into that coaching world as well. And so to have her on board, she has that, I wouldn't say fiery, but the kids see that
the passion.
Absolutely. The passion for sure. And the kids see that, both boys and girls. So, so to have both Liz and Bree helping both groups out, I mean, massive for us. So, I'm so thankful for them, and, they've helped out tremendously, and it's still so early in the season. So I'm looking forward to these next few weeks, see them grow as well.
Yeah. It's only been, again, a few weeks into the season, but
That's
a big one tomorrow night, 5:30 and 7:30, Glenwood, Lee Scott. We're going to be there for the games, and we're also going to be cheering on. Good luck, Coach. We're going to be having you on many more times here for the rest of the season here in spring. And we're going to take a break. When we come back from break, I'm going to sit down with Coach Tim Fanning here on the Glenwood Coaches Show. And again, don't forget, tomorrow night, Coach Eddie Miranda's girls and boys taking on Lee Scott, 5:30, 7:30, live from the Swamp. We'll be right back after this.
Football is back, and the only thing that makes it better is some delicious food from Zaxby's. They're a proud sponsor of Georgia-Alabama Sports Live. And I can tell you that everyone on this team loves their chicken. Get all the favorites, such as their signature chicken sandwich, or try the new chicken finger tacos with your favorite drink. From amazing salads, wings, chicken fingers, and some of the best drinks around, there isn't a better way to enjoy our broadcast without getting some fantastic meals from Zaxby's. Check out the two here in Phoenix City, one off Crawford Road and the other on US 80. Thank you again to Zaxby's for sponsoring Georgia-Alabama Sports Live. And make sure you call them for all your catering and tailgating needs this football season.
Welcome back to the Glenwood Coaches Show, and I'm live and comfortable here in the baseball clubhouse with Coach Tim Fanning, the AD and head baseball coach. Coach, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, man. It's nice to be inside out of the wind.
Exactly, because last night, my man had me dying up there at top of the Bill Bowers press box. I mean, we were holding on to the camera, the table, and poor Riley, who's not very tall. He looked like he was about to blow away as well, but got a big win last night. We'll talk about that in a moment, Coach. I do want to start this show off because obviously I know we're about a week from that Glenwood Central game. Right. We had on Mark Clark on the Sports Vision Morning Show today to talk about what it meant to the city to have two schools so close in proximity play for the first time. Talk about what it meant to the community here in Phoenix City, but more specifically what it meant to Glenwood. Because if I'm getting texts from former alumni that I graduated with about the game, I know you did too. And it was a big deal, Coach.
Well, and I mean, you talk about Texas, hundreds of them. I mean, it was hundreds of them before. It was twice as many after, obviously, you know, because we won, I guess. But, it's just something that's been long overdue, and Glenwood's not had the opportunity to do that. I mean, you got two amazing traditions in baseball, and, in particular, because that's what we're talking about. And it's, 3 miles down the road, the atmosphere was amazing, and it was just, I don't know how to explain it. So it was just a lot of fun. And I'm so thankful that, our guys got to be a part of that. You know, they deserve it.
Yep.
They deserve for people in the community to see them play.
Right.
It's not that we're playing any different than we ever have.
No.
And I guess that's, some of the misconception, that just out of sight, out of mind, right? If they don't know who we're playing, then obviously they can't evaluate what they see on the field. So
right. Well, Coach, again, like you said, great atmosphere, great host by Central. They did a great job. And then the game lived up to the hype. I mean, it was every bit an entertaining game. And I'm so glad to make history and be on the call for that, Coach. But since that moment, you're 6-2. And as great as you've been playing, there are things you do want to work on. We'll talk about that in a moment. But
Right.
to beat Central, Smith Station, Russell County, Opelika, Coach, those are the 4 big rivals that surround you. That going back to my playing days, and when Carson Bowers and Will Allison, they all would have loved the opportunity for this. And the fact y'all did it and you won all 4 of those games. Do you think that is again, I don't want to make this a bigger deal than it has to be, because in the grand scheme of things, it's not helping you win. It's not winning the state championship right now, but that is got to be impressive. And I know you're happy about it.
No, it is. I mean, like I said, I mean, I keep saying this, but I mean, it's just to be able to have great programs around us that we were never able to play.
Right. Northside, another one too.
Right. And now we can. And I respect all the coaches. They do a great job. We have a relationship. So it's enjoyable, you know what I mean, for these guys to be able to come and play against guys that they've grown up with, played against, all these other things, and put a great product on the field and great for the fans to watch, and really let them know what Glenwood baseball is all about.
Right.
And that's all I really am concerned about, you know, and how we play the game, how we represent this school and this program. And our guys have done a great job so far. You know, we've talked about things we need to clean up, and, you know, just talking to the boys, I mean, we're not where we need to be defensively.
Right.
And it's cost us 2 games this year. And you know, against Spanish Fort, I mean, another Alabama.
Well, I want you to talk about that. You got
know,
to play in a big time tournament that you've been wanting to play in the Donnie Branch and LaGrange.
And it was great too. We played Morgan County. They were number 1 ranked team in 2A and beat them. And then, you know, we played against Spanish Fort, and, you know, we're up 7-2, I believe. We made 7 errors, you know, and lost the game because of it. You know, only gave up 2 earned runs and lost 8-7, you know, and as a coach, you've been coaching a long time, you know it's going to end up biting you in the butt, and it did. And then the very next day, we played a team from Orlando that was really good and gave them 4 unearned runs and lost 5-4. So that's what we had a 4-hour practice yesterday, the day before a game, and we're just going to keep working the problems. And as long as the kids buy in, we'll be okay. I mean, we have a good lineup. It's hard to navigate, but and you know, we're scoring a lot of runs, but you know, we just got to get back to clean baseball.
And speaking of like Tyler Sykes and a Mason McCrane, these guys are coming straight off the basketball court, playing this tough schedule, Coach. You knew there was going to be some ups and downs as they're trying to knock off the rust against big time competition. That's why it's like twofold. Like, you want to play the Central and you have to play them early, but it's like, man, you didn't even get your guys warmed up into the season. So how's that process going for your guys?
Well, but I mean, I think it's another example of, you know, dealing with adversity and life. Like, you're not always going to have things the way you want them.
Right.
You know, but you still got to do the best you can, you know, and you still got to give everything you got. And so I just think, you know, it's just another opportunity every time we step on that field to learn. And it's just, we're learning against better teams, you know, so, but it is cool, man. I mean, it's cool to have consequences, honestly, if you don't perform, right? I mean, when you can play guys and not perform and still win, like that's not really life.
No, you're not learning.
Fun. It's not. So I've just been super excited, and I mean, getting home at a decent hour, like, it's been awesome, man. I mean, even driving up to LaGrange, I mean, we were home at, you know, 9 o'clock, 9:30, whatever, you know, and it's that's just something we're not accustomed to.
No. Northside, you're playing. You got Columbus Side still coming up.
Yeah.
I don't know what we want to call this. It's like I called it last night the Play Everyone Tour, because you're trying to play everyone around this area. You have not been able to, Coach. But I think you respect all these coaches, like Tracy Powell at Northside, Chad Mathis, Greg Mathis, of course, Steve Smith at Calvary. Do y'all bounce information off each other when heck, I even saw you talking to Coach Blatt last night from Opelika. I feel like you respect all these guys, and I think y'all all have respect for each other and have conversations about how y'all can improve each one.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely, man. That's one thing about the baseball community that I've always loved is there's not a ton of secrets. You may come across somebody every now and then, you know, that holds things close to this, but like, for the most part, I mean, like, it's about the baseball community and playing good baseball. And I certainly have no issues trying to help anyone. And I've never had any kind of, you know, coaches pushback or anything like that when, you know, ask them questions, why you do this or that or whatever. And I mean, I'm an open book, man. I share our baseball philosophy with everybody,
Right.
email it to people, whatever. Like, I just want kids to do things the right way, play the game the right way, and represent, you know, their schools, their family, and their God the best way they can,
Right.
you know, and whatever I can do to make that happen, I'm certainly down for it. And most of the coaches in this area are the same way.
Exactly right, man. And honestly, the good coaches do that because they
Right.
want to learn.
For sure.
They want to obtain as much
Yeah.
knowledge as they can.
Right.
Border Wars.
Yes.
Now, and I made mention on the broadcast, it's not a big as event as it has been in years past because this year you want to do it at Synovus, wasn't able to play there. So
Right.
next year, expect big things. I promise you in the future. I'm excited about. But you still got some big time teams like Bethlehem Christian, Hopeville, Calvary, Harris County, Russell County to talk about this event
Right.
this weekend.
Well, it is, and I'm thankful to the coaches that have kind of, you know, just bridged the gap right here. And we
Right.
got, you know, some teams playing one game, some teams playing two, some
Right.
teams are playing three. You know what I mean? So whatever we had to do to fill all the time slots for 3 days, that's what we did. And we do got some good local matchups.
Yes,
you
we
know,
do.
with Chelly coming in for a couple, and Russell County coming in, and then Pike Road coming in.
Yep.
And Elmore County coming in for a game. And matter of fact, they're going to play Central, then stop by here, and then play in a game at our place, and then go home. So
awesome.
Yeah, on Friday. So it's cool, man, to have a lot of different types of teams here because, you know, I'm so proud of this place for one, and I do want to get people on campus and let them see, you know, the kind of work we put in and how much, you know, it matters to us, you know what I mean? And be a good host and want them to want to come back. So, a lot of the coaches that are coming, man, I've known for a long time, and they're great folks. And hopefully, you know, weather will be good, and, you know, a little bit of, I don't know, forecast for Saturday don't look that great, but we'll, you know, it's about 50%. You never know, you know,
Right.
50-50. So we'll see.
We're going to be crossing our fingers. 4 o'clock, first game, Glenwood at Calvary. That's Border Wars on Thursday. And then you got a game at 6. Then all day starting at 12 o'clock with Picelli, I think, Evangel, or is it Elmore? I think it's Evangel. Yes, it is Evangel.
Yeah.
That turns into Glenwood, Harris County.
Yeah.
That turns into Russell County, Calvary. And then you got 2 more games after that. And then same thing on Saturday. You got multiple games that are going to be happening. How much does it cost? Is it open to the community, obviously?
Yes,
and
yes.
This is like you're welcoming to everyone to come and watch.
Oh yeah, it's $8 cash, or we have credit card. We don't have GoFan or anything like that. So
we were cash only for a
that's
while.
That's right. Cash is king, baby. It's always worked. So no, it's a great environment too. I mean, there'll be a lot of people here.
Yep.
You know, especially like we play Harris County for military appreciation. Always look forward to that. The whole school will be out here.
Oh, man.
in honor of that. And so just, you know, it's a great time, man. And we've been very blessed with weather. I mean, yeah, it's been windy the last couple of days, but I mean, it's been pretty warm, you know. And,
Right.
So I looked at, you know, if you want to see some good baseball, come here because it'll be here all day long.
I can't wait for it. We're going to get both games on Thursday and the first 3 games on Friday, trying to show our coverage of Border Wars. Coach, look forward to talk to you the rest of the season. Is there a cry or anything else you would like to say out there to the fans, the community about Glenwood baseball or Glenwood in general? Because I know you got your AD hat on too. You got multiple other sports going on right now. It's like you're doing everything.
Well, no, I just, you know, I'm always thankful to the Gator Nation, as some people call it, you know, because they're always there, man. They're going to travel no matter what. They're always supporting everything that we do. And from the bottom of my heart, I'm always so thankful. It's one thing that separates our school, I believe, and that buy-in. And I'm always thankful, man. I never take that for granted. And, you know, I just really appreciate it. So get a hold of our schedule. It's jam-packed full of stuff you've never seen before, you know what I mean? And a lot of firsts, you know, and, you know, that'll continue next week when we go to Columbus High. And
for the first time, we're going to be there for that too.
It's, you know, it's just really cool, man. I don't know. I'm just blessed, man. I'm not worthy of the grace God shows me, but I'll take it. and just having a blast every day.
I would have loved to see that Glenwood Columbus High 15 years ago when I was in high school. Bobby Howard versus you. That both y'all had 3 peats going on. That would have been a lot of fun. Coach, thank you so much.
Thank you, brother.
We'll see y'all tomorrow at Border Wars. And thank y'all for watching the Glenwood Coach Show here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Go Gators.